Hi, I'm Nate Savage and welcome to video 6 of the Blues Guitar Quick Start series. In this lesson, we're going to shift focus from rhythm blues guitar to lead blues guitar by learning a shape for the blues scale. We're only going to concentrate on learning the shape and learning where the root notes are for now. The great thing about the blues and learning the blues scale is it's super easy once you learn it to just jump right in and start making some great sounding solos. In later lessons, we're going to cover how to start choosing your notes out of the blues scale, but for now, just learn the shape and have fun with it. Now, there are several blues scale shapes. We're only going to concentrate on one in this lesson. It's better to know one blues scale shape and be able to use it really well than it is to know all of them and not really be able to use them very well. If you know your minor pentatonic scale shape, the really common one that everybody knows, you're going to be a step ahead because all we're going to be doing is adding a note, one note to that scale, and it's called the flat 5 note. This note is responsible for the really bluesy sound that you get with the blues scale. So like I said, if you know your minor pentatonic scale shape, this one, it's going to be really easy because we're only going to add one note in each octave of the scale to make our blues scale. So let's just start from the very beginning. Let's start from the lowest root note here on the open E string. Play that note. Then you're going to play the 3rd fret of the low E string. I like to use my 3rd finger for this particular shape with the open strings anyway, so those 2 notes. Get those down, memorize where they are. And then you're going to go over to the A string, and we have 3 notes on this string. If this was a regular minor pentatonic scale, you would have just the open A string, and then the 2nd fret of the A string with your middle finger, right? We have to insert the flat 5 note here, so we're going to play open the 1st fret with your 1st finger, and then the 2nd fret with your 2nd finger. So experiment with those notes, get them down, then add them to the rest of the shape. The next string over is the D string, and the notes on that string are pretty easy. It's just the open D string, and then the 2nd fret of the D string. I play that with my middle finger. So add those 2 notes. Memorize them, then add them into the rest of the scale. And actually that completes the 1st octave for our blues scale. So you have... Now I have to play the 2nd octave, and we're going to add in another flat 5 note. Over to the next string, the G string, you're going to have that open, then the 2nd fret with your 2nd finger, and here comes the flat 5 right here, 3rd finger, 3rd fret. So those are the notes on that string. Get those down, add them into the rest of the scale. Okay, the last 2 strings, the B and the high E strings, are really easy because they're the exact same pattern. So we'll go ahead and learn both of those together. Play the open B string, then the 3rd fret of the B string with your 3rd finger. It's the exact same pattern on the high E string. So open high E and 3rd fret. So get those down, memorize where they are, then add them to the rest of the shape. So that's the entire 6-string open E blues scale shape. And you want to make note of a couple things. You're going to see black or filled in circles. Those black filled in circles represent the root notes of this scale. So your root notes are going to be the open E string, 2nd fret of the D string, and the open high E string too. Try to be aware of where these root notes are as you practice and memorize this scale shape. One easy way to kind of solidify where they are is to kind of pause when you get to them. So open E, 2nd fret of the D, high E string open, right? Now you can play this exact same open E blues scale shape up 1 octave higher. The only real difference is instead of playing all these open strings, your index finger is going to be playing all of those notes on the 12th fret. So let's do that. Move this shape up from this low E to this E note on the 12th fret. That's going to be your starting point now. So instead of having open and the 3rd fret, you're going to have the 12th fret with your first finger, and the 15th fret with your pinky. Next string over, you're going to have the 12th fret again with your index finger. Then the next 2 notes with your 2nd and 3rd fingers. Next string over, 12th fret again with your index finger. 14th fret with your 3rd finger. Next string over, 12th again with your first finger. 14th with your 3rd. 15th with your pinky. And then again, the next 2 strings are the same again, so we're going to learn those at the same time. Index finger on the 12th. 15th with your pinky, same exact thing on the next string over. So it's the exact same scale, we're just using our index finger to grab all the notes that were played with open strings with the other shape, right? So same thing applies here. Try to memorize where the root notes are and be aware of that as you play through this scale. 12th fret of the E, 14th fret of the D, and the 12th fret of the high E too. And you can also try to start memorizing where the flat 5 notes that we put in are. Right there. And just know that the flat 5 note is a very colorful note for this scale, but it's more of a passing tone. Once you're fairly comfortable with these shapes, what you can do is just pull up a jam track and work on playing with this scale over some real music. And you still have the option to go with either 70 beats per minute or 100 beats per minute, depending on what you're comfortable with. You can kind of view these jam tracks on this lesson as a dressed up metronome or something that's just more fun to practice your scales to. Here is how I would develop or practice these scales with these jam tracks. In the next lesson, we're going to talk a little bit more about the blues scale and how it's actually made, so get ready for that. If you have any questions about the blues scale or these shapes in general, you can leave them here in the comments or email me, Nate@guitarsystem.com. I'll see you in the next lesson.